Sevens football is different. It's dynamic.
The quick pass back inside. It's there. It's there. No, he didn't get there.
Sevens is about pace and hands and more pace.
Stewart. That's Smith pacing up. Grant's got too much pace for everybody.
He's not going to get it. He'll score in the corner.
It's a game based on passing.
The pass away. Grant's got it out there. Oh, that's classy play.
Supporting the ball carrier and beating the man.
Yes.
He'll score.
Getting over the try line, not once,
Try.
not twice, but all day long.
Here comes Iro, the huge man, reaches out and scores. Can Izzard get to him? No! Try! Elias in the score for the Tigers.
Speed,
And O'Connor down the touchline. Can he beat Ettinghausen? Yes, he can!
strength,
They won't catch him.
support. Sevens football.
Yes, Rugby League is back in a big, big way in 1991. What a sight here at the Parramatta Stadium. The house-full signs have been up early in the afternoon here for the annual Nissan Sevens. A stunning afternoon here, an afternoon chock full of major upsets. Hello, everyone, and what a great year it's going to be in Rugby League. It's nice to welcome you to the annual Nissan Sevens. As I said, a day of major upsets. We're now headed for some live semi-final action. Before we go to that first match, let's take you to Bill Anderson with all the results of matches played earlier today.
Yeah, thanks, Graham. Let's have a look at those first round results. Balmain 22, easily accounted for Penrith 4. In a major upset, Illawarra 24 beat last year's winners of the Sevens, Manly 6. St George 18 over West 14. Souths 20, Canterbury 14. Newcastle 20, Canberra 4. Parramatta 14 defeated Norths 10. Eastern Suburbs in a thriller beat Brisbane 20 points to 18, and in extra time, the Gold Coast 17 beat Cronulla 16. Now for the quarterfinals, Illawarra 18 beat Balmain 10, and that was some football game. St George 20, South Sydney 16, Newcastle 22, and they've displayed outstanding form. Parramatta 18 and Eastern Suburbs 20 make up the last semi-finals by beating the Gold Coast 8.
What a day it's been. And as I said, that beautiful sight here at the stadium. No seats left vacant. And the rain has stayed away. We welcome also to the Network 10 team. Full time in 1991, the man who performed so well for Balmain, New South Wales, Australia. Wayne Pearce, welcome aboard. What an afternoon out.
Thanks, Graham. It's great to be part of the team, and the atmosphere here is absolutely electrifying. At the moment, the wave is going around the ground. I think the conditions, the rather unseasonably cool conditions, have made conditions favourable for not only the crowd but also the players. The players today have put their best foot forward. There's been some outstanding tries scored. There's been some surprise winners. There's been some shock losers. But all in all, it's been a great day of football.
How does it feel now, officially first game out and not part of the action?
Well, I'm only about 5 metres from the action down here on the sideline. I can hear the thumps, I can hear the bumps, and I don't know whether I'd like to be out there or not, because the clashes today have been titanic.
Well, it's been humid, and the players thankfully haven't had to put up with too much sunshine like yesterday. That would have been a killer for them. The Roosters hit the field in this semi-final, led by Huey McGann, and they have managed to get there. A first-round win, as Bill said, 20-18 over Brisbane. And then they defeated the Gold Coast 20-8. And now they line up against the Knights. And the Knights have been impressive winners, 20-4 over Canberra. And then they beat one of the favourites, Parramatta, 22-18. And Michael Hagan, the danger man for the Knights.
Going on that as a guide, Graham, this is going to be a tremendous game of football. Both these sides averaging 20 points a match.
Brett Patworth, he knows all about Sevens football, the former rugby union man. Unlucky with injuries in his rugby league career, but back and hopeful of showing everyone his true talent in 1991. Semi-final to follow, the Illawarra Steelers taking on St George. Sit back, relax, enjoy a smorgasbord of tries. This will fall for Gordon, trying to get away from Huey McGann. The players pumped up in front of this massive crowd. Marquette, head down. Glanville, one of the stars of the day for Newcastle. They go wide. Hagan. Run around Steve Linane. He gets the ball out to Gordon with some room to move. He claps on the pace. He's got support. It falls for Glanville. Sherlock on the chase. Hagan inside. He doesn't need him. A massive bend. He just threw him away. The option was there for Hagan, but Glanville confidently gets the opening try of the semi-finals.
You may not believe this on your Nissan replay, but Mark Glanville is a second row forward all afternoon. He's played like a centre three-quarter. Look at this. Plenty of pace, and there displays plenty of strength. Opening points to the Newcastle Knights in Nissan football 1991.
Glanville shake of the head. Slowly he trudges back. And Gordon looking to add 2 more. He meets it perfectly. So it's the Newcastle Knights skipping to that early lead of 6-0. Straight back to halfway. Marshall can't escape the clutches of Linane. Salvatore to take over. Marshall shapes to go left. Now back for Salvatore.
In these semi-finals, Graham, it's only 7 minutes each way, but for some of the footballers, it'll be the longest 7 minutes each way they've ever played. It's non-stop action.
McGahn. They hang on grimly in defence, Newcastle. Marshall gets it back for the Eastern Suburbs recall, but no. The final pass from Banky couldn't be taken. Now he's ruled a knock on. This ball, I think you will see, is touched by Newcastle, knocked back by Hagan, who I think was forced in the in goal.
And instead of a line dropout, we're going to get a scrum and a Newcastle feed. That's the sort of break that you need to go your way.
Well, now it's a bit of justice for Eastern Suburbs. Thrown anywhere by Papworth. Deacon. 12 metres out east. Sherlock right in front of the goalposts.
Newcastle's defence has been one of their strengths, but this is going to be a tall order.
McGahn will play it in the same position. Papworth. Overlap. Salvatore. He won't need them either. Too strong, Salvatore. He got it down. Yes, he did, says Neil Ahmed. And the Roosters are looking to try and square it all up.
You can see on the Nissan replay that Doyle will get to him, but Salvatore, too big, too fast and too close. Shrugged off that tackle, saw the try line and bustled his way over.
No doubt about him getting it down. Papworth, one of the better exponents of the field goal, puts it right down the middle. Semi-final action is locked together at 6 all between Newcastle and East. McCormick. Marquette. Glanville. 40 metres out, Newcastle. Penalty against Salvatore. Quickly they take it. Doyle sending it deep inside the 22. They'll end up about 8 metres out. He'll take the restart himself. And he will look, well, he took on Marshall, a much smaller man. McCormick behind the back for Linane. Hagan tries to drag it in. Glanville. Back infield goes Glanville, 10 metres out. Frantic defence. Marquette. They all hung off him. You want to talk about bad defence, even in sevens. They thought he was just going to unload to a first receiver, and it opened up like the heads.
The Nissan replay tells us the story. It's all about tiredness, but it's also about slack defence. Marquette did it easily.
One of the easiest tries of the afternoon to Paul Marquette. Gordon. Gordon, once more he makes no mistake. Very few mistakes being made. And Newcastle lead 12-6. No more rest again. You can forgive them, Wayne. There's so many players being tired.
It's been a long day. Not only has it been rather hot and humid on the field, despite the cloud cover, it's still been rather warm. But in the dressing sheds inside, it's very, very humid in there. There's a variety of dressing rooms, but they're both, they're all very, very warm and sticky in there because all 16 teams have been using them right throughout the day. So they don't get much recovery off the field either.
Burke. Right on the 22. Marshall. Salvatore. Deacon outside. Back in field. Penalty. It's against Marquette for interfering with the support players. Benke.
And only 1 minute to go before half-time. An important passage here for the Roosters.
Burke. Blindside Salvatore, just trying to crush his way through. Burke again. The defence was up very quickly. About 30 seconds for the Roosters to add their second. Deacon, one-hander, McGahn dragged it in beautifully. He stands, but he's denied 2 metres out. 8 seconds. Tapped ahead by McGahn. There's a mad scramble. And Newcastle survive. And they will very slowly look ahead to a break. Last tackle. McGahn tried to drag it around the post, but he couldn't. And they lead at half-time. Newcastle 12 points to 6 over East in the semi-final here of the Nissan Sevens. We'll take a break at the stadium. Be back with a lot more action right after this. No one's left all afternoon long. The gates were shut around 2 p.m. this afternoon. House full signs were put up. And now Newcastle to get us underway in the second half of this semi-final. The Knights are leading 12-6.
And interestingly enough, Graham, in the possession held stakes in that first half, East held the ball for 13 tackles, Newcastle only for 7. Now that tells you a lot about the Knights' defence.
Difficult ball out that bounces beautifully for Benke to send Deacon away. Linane coming across. Linane won't get him. He drops off. And Deacon will improve to score under the posts. The Roosters gain first blood in the second half. And now they put the pressure to the Knights.
Well, I don't know what Eastern Suburbs were told by Mark Murray at half-time there, but it certainly worked. On the Nissan Sevens replay, we can see Deacon striding up the field here. He's had an outstanding debut today in Nissan Sevens football, and he just showed his pace once again and came around to improve his position right underneath the uprights.
Great run from Deacon. Some young men that have really made names for themselves here this afternoon. He converts his own try. Semi-final is locked together, 12 all. Back they come quickly. And Newcastle restart through Marquette. McCormick. Glanville. Good strong running. There's another one just like him, a dummy half in Doyle.
You're only allowed 3 replacements, Graham, but I'd say that both coaches will use them all up.
Some sloppy play from Newcastle. Have they gone to sleep?
Well, I don't know if they've gone to sleep, but you're always going to find there's going to be a bit of tiredness in this sort of football, and it's a war of attrition, really. Whoever can keep their legs the longest has got the best advantage.
Marshall. You look at somebody like Marshall. Is it a game for little men?
It is a game for little men, but big men like Craig Salvatore, who's belting this one up the short side, still have a role, don't they? They get you good field position.
But now they've cocked it up. McGahn nearly copped some boots. Hagan. The man who normally keeps his cool for the Newcastle Knights. No marker, but he plays it back quickly. Linane goes down a blind side. 40 metres out, the Knights. McCormick. Gordon wrestled to the ground, some desperate defence.
But even though it's sevens, Graham, a field goal is still worth 1 point. That could break the deadlock.
Hagan, one-hander back for Gordon. Here's a chance if they spread it. Gordon. Glanville knocks it on, just couldn't drag it in. And here come those fresh replacements, Bill.
Wasn't much of a knock on. It was a good ball there. Gordon got away in the tackle, but close enough's good enough. 1 inch forward, it might as well be a metre.
The Knights have very quickly run 2 men on. And Schuster is one of them, trying to get across in defence. He misses Deacon. 40 him out from their own line east. Sherlock. That ball is up there for anybody. Luckily, the bounce favours the Roosters. Now they have managed a little knock on.
With 4 minutes to go, the score at 12-all, Graham. Should it finish 12-all, if we've got a draw, play will be restarted in extra time with a scrum. The team last in possession will have the feed, and the first scorer will be our winner.
Schuster. Gordon. Gordon's wrapped up 30 out. Boyd looked forward. Hagan. Gordon. Gordon trying to step his way through. He nearly did. Hagan. Getting involved a lot more. Schuster. He stands, looks for Doyle. Doyle couldn't break what was a brilliant tackle. A penalty for hanging on. 6 more tackles that should be killers. Hagan quickly. Boyd. East didn't regroup. They were just too tired, and they weren't quick enough to realise that the quick tap was on.
The replay will show us that Hagan read it to perfection. He took the quick tap. 6s and 7s, the East defence. Boyd does the rest.
Quite simple, but quick thinking from Hagan. Inside the last 3 minutes now. Gordon. In great kicking form. The drop kick, a difficult art. Not on this occasion. So it's Newcastle by 4 now. The converted try to win it for East. We're going to have some tired men in the final of the Nissan Sevens. Marshall. Beecroft is out there now, a fresh man. As is Brendan Hall. McGahn. Marshall. They lose it. You might think that they might lose this semi-final with that drop ball.
A very important tackle there by Newcastle, but that's the sort of tackle they've executed all afternoon.
Just inside their own side of halfway, Newcastle.
And still full of plenty of running, Graham. Now, Newcastle are coming on here. I think they're home and hosed.
Hagan. Gordon. Back for Hagan. Stop. The restart. Always creates so much time for himself. Richards. Bankick in cover. He gets him on the 22 with only 60 seconds remaining. They've got to keep it down here. Schuster. Hagan. Dummying. Standing. And killing time by getting the ball back from McCormick. He tries to straighten. 21 metres out, last tackle. Hagan. Gordon. Well, Gordon was the tired man, and he was asleep. One tackle, maybe. One tackle can win the game.
Newcastle had a chance to promote something there, but they went to sleep on it, and now the last throw of the dice for Eastern Suburbs.
Time is up. Only seconds. 3 seconds. Marshall. Well, it's a deliberate pass forward. Surely that ball was forward. This one is, he says. That's going to end it and get the Knights home. A tired team, but they get home by 16 points to 12. We'll be back for continuing semi-final action right after this break. Tierney brings it back 10 metres out. Semi-final action. St George and Illawarra, who were so impressive in their first two matches. Now a penalty against St George for not playing the ball correctly. What a mistake to make in the opening moment of a semi-final.
You almost work on the theory, Graham, in sevens that you're going to score each set of 6. Now, St George had their opportunity, but they've turned the ball over with a foolish mistake. Illawarra have got the first chance to attack.
Simon with the restart. Curry. Stepping. And a big gap. The referee was tackled by Tierney, who was trying to close the gap on the inside. But Curry gets the try under the post. St George complaining it'll do them no good.
It's hard to defend all that width of field, particularly against someone like Darren Curry. He can step off either foot. Here on the Nissan replay, it was the right foot, ankle tapped short, but had enough momentum to get across.
Simon right in front. Taking a mile of time over this. No problem. And it's the Steelers 6, St George 0. Back they come, St George through Khalil.
And Graham, you always find in sevens football, the good teams bounce back after they've had a hurdle against them. Now that's the case here. Illawarra got first bite, St George have got to hit back immediately.
Trying to do that through Beattie. Beattie is 30 metres out. Goulet.
He's had a dynamic tournament so far. For a big man, he can step off both feet. He's very light-footed, and he can also get the ball away in tackles.
Heron chips ahead for himself. What a good try. Smart thinking. No one home in sevens football. Plenty of pace and an absolutely perfect kick. Bounced up beautifully on the line for him.
A young man from the North Coast. He was dynamic last year in the under-21s, and here he shows that he can also do it in first grade. He read that well. There was no one at home, chipped ahead, regathered, and scores the opening points for the Dragons.
Heron will try to lock it all up as quickly as they got away. The Steelers, they've been brought back. What a great 6 points from Heron. 6 apiece, the Steelers and the Saints. Walsh. Piccinelli.
Wayne Pearce, you don't get many rests in sevens football.
You certainly don't, particularly if a support player, and the support play in these two teams has been fantastic.
Well, there's no rest here. Curry for Rodwell. Rodwell scores. This score could end up anything if we keep on going like this. They've got a tire, surely. They've come out 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Have a look at this on the Nissan replay. This is what sevens is all about, attack and counter-attack. First of all, it was Curry. Curry back inside to Rodwell, the man in the headgear who made such an impact last year in his first year in top-grade football. Was caught short of the line but fell across.
Simon. Right out on touch. They will try and bring it around, the right foot kicker. It's coming around for him. On a string, right down the middle. What a super kick. The Steelers, 12-6 over St George. Just as quickly, the Saints restart. Tierney. And support on the inside. Goulet went without it. Now it's Coyne. If they stay to script, St George should score right now. Are they going to? Heron keeps it on the toe, but it gets away from him. 3 metres out now, the Steelers. to bring it away from their own line through Rodwell. St George to try and put some pressure on in defence.
It's very hard to defend in sevens football, and what you're tackling for always is an error. You know that if they play out their 6, they're probably going to score. You're working always for a mistake.
Big power play there in defence. They get it out 10 metres though, the Steelers. Walsh. Taken by Tierney. Just threw Khalil away. Crowd not liking the last surge from Walsh though. Simon. Now, will it sit up? He kicks it again. Coming across to spoil it all though is Kurt Landers. There'll be some tired St George players getting back after this one. Khalil. Still trying to get back.
It's pretty obvious that in football played at this pace, if you've got to tackle for 2 sets of 6, tiredness is going to set in. And that's the position that St George find themselves in at the moment. They've just got to keep lifting themselves.
Beattie. Landers. Landers stands but can't unload. About 60 seconds to go. Khalil. Coyne. Back for Khalil. Last tackle against St George. Beattie. He tries a long-range field goal. He hit that beautifully. Incredible field goal from Beattie. Well and truly inside the last minute. He was happy with the 1 point. 12-7 Illawarra over St George. This gives them a chance with a converted try.
We've seen some pretty ordinary drop kicks at some stages of the afternoon, but that was one of the best.
I doubt we'll see a better one today. Curry. Can Heron get back there and beat him? No, he can't. Curry steals it out of midair. And Curry gets another one under the black dot to continue to send these Steelers on their way.
The ever-alert Darren Curry. Here he drops one on the foot. It probably should have been tidied up by Sess Heron. He may have thought that he had more time than he did. Maybe a little bit of a push out of the way, but the referee was on the spot. Curry gathered it and puts it under the uprights.
Simon was thinking about half-time. Now he's still got some more work to do. And the Steelers have started to put St George in a hole at the break, 18-7. Welcome back. Room left for no one here at the Parramatta Stadium. And room left only for St George, though, as far as time is concerned, to get back in this semi-final.
Well, I'm not going to write them off yet. They're behind by 18 points to 7, but in sevens football, the great thing about it is you can score a lot of points in a short period of time.
Should be some mistakes, though, from the Steelers to lose it.
Well, and St George has got to tackle those mistakes into them, and that's the one they were after. Now, they've got to come up with the ball from this scrum and take full advantage of it.
This has got to be 6 points for St George. New. Beattie. No dummy half at the moment. Now there is. Goulet back in field for Priddle. Back for Goulet. He had men outside. Looked to be a chance if he had have unloaded. Khalil, they must go right and continue to do so. Beattie had to turn and take it. He steps in field, St George are back in it. And very quickly, they've got to make this 4, though, into a 6.
Well, this try was just a matter of moving the ball from one side of the field to the other. St George moved around in numbers to the left-hand side of the field. They moved it back to the right-hand side of the field. A great pass there from Newey out to Beattie. Beattie just used a step again that's been so effective here today, and a spin to finish with, and he strolls over the line. A very solid try, and it gets them back in the action.
Vital try from Beattie. David New. That's the important kick they wanted. So the Steelers now have to look over their shoulder at 18-13. Morrissey
Good test of character here. Illawarra looking to score the next points. They'll be trying to play out this set of 6, and St George trying to tackle that all-important mistake into them.
Wonder if they might cop up another ball. Riolo. Rodwell. They do. So 2 simple handling mistakes in a semi-final for the offering for St George.
The game can change so quickly in Sevens football. Here we can see the mistake made by Illawarra. They probably pushed a pass that they didn't need to make. Wishart came up with a handling error and St George right back into it.
St George to try and keep their cool. New has Landers outside, but he goes back infield. Coyne will play it. No marker.
Yeah, good quick play the ball, and St George are on a roll here.
Khalil, 41 metres out. The Saints looking as though they were out of it. Now a great chance. Over the top. Numbers here too. It falls for Beattie. Beattie throws the dummy. Keeps it alive on the infield. Khalil. Khalil's got support from Goulet. Goulet will have support from Priddle. Priddle will look outfield. 2 men there. Landers will score. Oh, the Saints are back from the dead. He goes around to improve. The Steelers in real trouble. Landers has set them alight. Great support play from the Saints.
I take my hat off. Great try, St George. It started with Khalil. He got it back to Goulet. Goulet to Priddle. Priddle holding the ball out in front in classic fashion. Over the top to Kurt Landers. And there on the Nissan replay is as good a Sevens try as you're ever going to see.
David New has the chance for the Saints now. No mistake. They came from behind in early matches. What a turnaround, 19 to 18.
And let's not forget how they did it. They did it with some good, strong, tough defence.
Surely they can't cough it up again, the Steelers. Enormous pressure on them now. After having the comfort zone, it's gone. Morrissey. St George playing inspired Sevens football. Simon. Simon. Ebb gets it away for Rodwell. Dummies on the inside. Outside for Fritz. 5 metres away the Steelers. And 3 minutes left in the semi. Simon. They must score. Pinchinelli. They went without it again. They had 2 and 3 men left over. Simple hands was needed to the wing and they would have scored. Martin Ebb looked to have overrun it.
They had the numbers, Graham, but they didn't have the technique to finish it off.
Now St George, thankful of the amount of ball given to them.
3 minutes to go, but it's going to be a long 3 minutes as Ricky Walford makes a break from near his own try line.
It was nearly a long run for Walford if he had have got through. Treadle. St George have looked gone 2 and 3 times in the Nissan Sevens tournament today. They keep on bouncing back.
And this man's been one of the stars.
Landers. Landers and Fritz Landers gets away. It is all St George. An avalanche of tries in this second half. Landers under the black dot. Time will now be totally against the Steelers.
The nature of Sevens football is such that when you're forced to defend for long periods, tiredness sets in, and that's what's happened to Illawarra. Goulet made the break, picked up Kurt Landers, a young man with plenty of pace, and doesn't he know how to use it? Look at that on your Nissan replay.
Kurt Landers gets 2 in a complete reversal in the second half of this semi. New from right in front. And St George make it 25-18 with only 60 seconds left in the semi. And the Saints are looking down the barrel at a spot in the Nissan Sevens final. Wishart. Yet again, a knock-on from the Steelers, who have shown how you can lose Sevens football.
It's no secret they won't have to go far to look at where they've thrown this one away.
If you think handling mistakes are vital in Winfield Cup matches, more so in Sevens. The kick ahead from New. The Steelers trying to get back there with the siren about to go. And who would have thought it would have been St George who climb into the final here at the Parramatta Stadium. At half-time they looked gone. In the end, they've won it by 7. So the Saints have really performed a miracle to get home by 25-18. Welcome back to the Parramatta Stadium. Plenty of colour here. It's like grand final day already, yet it's only the first day of Rugby League. And what a day it's been for the Nissan Sevens. And the crowd, well, it's still house full here at the Parramatta Stadium. And the crowd have shown that this is what they want. They want to be able to see all the teams given on the one day. And they really have seen some sensational Rugby League tries. And Bill Anderson, they want a whole lot more of this, don't they?
They sure do, Graham. There's been some fantastic action here this afternoon. The crowd's enjoyed every minute of it. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm sure that Wayne Pearce has sidelined.
It's been fantastic. There's been some surprise winners, as I said earlier. There's been some surprise shocks. But all in all, it's been a great day. There's been some tremendous tries scored. And when you consider how demanding Sevens football is, the action's just been aplenty all day.
Well, Wayne, tell us, how physically demanding is it to play Sevens?
It's extremely demanding on the body's energy reserves. You're exploding with energy basically for 14 minutes with a 1 minute break in between. You run into a huge oxygen debt at the end of the matches, and it takes a hell of a long time to recover from that. And when you're looking at the final, which will go for 10 minutes each half, it's 20 minutes of explosive action. Those guys are going to have to be dragged off the ground at the end of the match.
Quickly, who's going to win the final?
I think Newcastle will win, but it depends on how they pulled up after that last match, because they haven't had as long a break in that last match as St George have.
OK, Wayne Pearce going for Newcastle. I'm going to go with St George, but right for now, let's have a look at some of the highlights of the early games.
Grant again. Grant has left his mark all over this first match in the Nissan Sevens of 1991. Another try for him right under the post. Rodwell, Tooby, Curry again. Keeps it alive, Riolo. Kicks ahead. Stokes is there. Kicked ahead by Rodwell. They went to sleep. Unbelievable. Coyne still stepping. He's got support. Give it to him now. Going all the way. Tierney for St George, back infield for Walford. He nearly left it too late, but the Saints might get out of jail here. Campbell, beautifully up for Darren McCarthy. McCarthy out for Coleman. This is a spectacular try. Nissan Sevens football, this is what it's all about. This is what the fans have come to see, and Coleman is going to waste as much time as possible. 14-10 Parramatta lead. Jackson, that's forward. The Bears fans will have to retake their seats. It's going to come back. David Hall will have to bring it all the way back. They must send it out wide, and it should be a try. Deacon for the corner, the Roosters in the dying seconds. Horsnell kicks for Peacock. Too big a head start for Corkery, though, who's there. Doesn't fix it. Now Peacock gets it, and it's going to come down to a field goal. But a quick play of the ball should result in a try. Hagan will just stroll over. It's all too easy for Newcastle. Nissan Sevens, a knockout competition and a knockout way to start the Rugby League year of 1991. We're back with more at the stadium right after this. Tigers have allowed a few opportunities for the Steelers to skip away.
Yeah, they've had enough ball, Balmain, but haven't made good use of it, Graham. And here's Rodwell, the man that was so dominant in that win over Manly.
Dale Fritz gets on the end of that pass, and Rodwell has laid on a superb effort from the Steelers. Now the Tigers are starting to pay for mistakes in a very big way. Upfield. Brown. Tapped on. Here's a chance for Clark to put the foot down. Russell comes across. Darren Clark, without really putting the foot down, I think just waved him goodbye. And the Tigers can forget all about the big money on offer in the Nissan Sevens. Simon is going to make sure of it as the Steelers, underdogs at the start of today, now firm in favouritism. Souths have an advantage to the left.
Watch Coleman, he won't panic.
Coleman keeps his cool with a long pass to Thompson. Thompson back infield, and infield he will find the black dot. Deep in the 22 now of the Rabbitohs.
South's defence here, Graham's got to force a mistake. They must force a mistake or they'll drop this game.
Last tackle, Goulet. Heron got it to 5 metres out, and Goulet has got the answer from dummy half. Saved a big dummy, this could be it. He's offside, that was touched by St George. Walford will score at the other end, that's it. Should have been a penalty to Souths. I have to say another mistake, but the stadium is erupting here as Walford goes 60 and 70 metres. Frantic and entertaining football all day long on the Nissan Sevens. You've seen the quarter-final action. You've seen the semis. We're down to the final right after the break. St George and Newcastle going up for $70,000. Welcome back to the stadium. This is what it's all about. The final of the Nissan Sevens, 30,000 at the Parramatta Stadium to witness the Saints and the Newcastle Knights do battle. $70,000 to the winner. And they have battled all afternoon long. Some tired players, but there are big rewards at the end of this one. 10 minutes each way in the final. Not like the semis, the quarters, and the first round matches of 7 minutes each. Billy Harrigan in charge. The man to be considered #1 referee in the game. St George to kick off. Again, there will be a rush of blood right throughout both halves.
And
Doyle.
a notable omission from the St George side, Scott Goulet. He's been dynamite all afternoon, he's not there. No doubt Brian Smith will use him as a stormtrooper.
Now, Newcastle to bring it away through Richards. He hasn't played in most of the earlier matches. Came on in the semi-final. Glanville has been a star for Newcastle. So has Gordon. Gordon now with a chance. Doyle. Walford across from the far wing. Doyle knocked down by St George. Good play and good cover from Walford. It was Kal-El who got to it and knocked the pass back for Walford. Opportunity lost. Beattie stepping. Beattie gets through. Can the support get to him? Gordon. He gets it for Walford. He got across to save one. Now he gets there to add one. Walford skips out of the last tackle, and St George explode away in the opening moments with the first try. Ricky Walford has everyone on their feet. He has Newcastle out on theirs.
The Nissan replay will show us that this is just the sort of start that St George were looking for. Ricky Walford on the fly, supported a Michael Beattie pass. There was not enough pace in the cover defence of Newcastle to stop him.
Ricky Walford knows where to score them in Nissan Sevens football. Walford converted the try, and it's 6-0 St George over Newcastle.
And we've seen all afternoon, Graham, the sides that make their mark in Sevens football are the ones that hit back immediately. Over to you, Newcastle.
And Ashley Gordon. He's wrapped up by Tierney and also Priddle. Hagan, McCormick. Wayne, have you been able to pick one side more tired than the other all afternoon in these two?
Actually, I thought St George were very, very lucky to win their first match of the afternoon when they were behind 10 points to nil after about 5 minutes against Western Suburbs. They struck back, won that match, and they've gone from strength to strength. But Newcastle have been by far the more consistent of the two.
Well, consistency doesn't get the end result here. Doyle wrapped up. Last tackle. Hagan trying to spread it. Here's the try. Richards. Beautifully worked by Hagan. He knew the long ball was going to end up with an extra man out wide. Bill said a good side should hit back. This is a good side.
It sure is, Graham. Michael Hagan, a player with wonderful timing. He just held that pass up long enough to commit the defence. Quick hands then onto McCormack. The Nissan replay shows us McCormack gets the Newcastle Knights right back into it.
Gordon, who has always taken a lot of time over the conversions, and with that maybe giving his side a chance to rest. He gets it. And as it should be in a final, it is 6-all. Khalil. Straight into the try scorer, McCormack.
It's 10 minutes each way, but I don't think Brian Smith will muck around for too long with Scott Goulet. I expect to see him make a very quick entry.
Tierney, 32 out. Brian Smith intense. The St George coach on the sideline. Beattie back for Walford. Tierney turns, looks for support. The call of held from Bill Harrigan right on the 22. David New, switch of play for Priddle. Priddle will look for David New. He was away for the try, couldn't handle the pass. So St George missed their first opportunity. Newcastle have already missed one. And the first scrum in the final.
What you've basically got to do is make the most of every chance you get, because if you miss too many chances, in the end you miss the boat.
Hagan. Kemp. Strong fend, but good defence from Beattie. One of the best in the business out in the backs. They just get outside their own 22, Newcastle. Kemp. Hagan. Richards over the top for Doyle. David New comes across. Just manages to put Doyle off balance so Priddle can finish him off. Now, this will go against Newcastle. It's up to the referee to decide whether he's been laying on him too long. Not to the side in possession of the ball.
And when that referee's a man like Bill Harrigan, he likes to make the decision on his own. Now, have a look at this on your Nissan replay. A tackle that's resented, a push in the tackle, and a penalty.
Just how costly is this going to be for the Knights? David New finds touch. 35 metres out. Khalil. For Priddle.
Graham, St George have given some good young players their chance in this Sevens tournament, and it's paid off for them.
Chance for them to get stuck into the 1991 season on the right note. David New 10 metres out. Khalil stepping. Wrapped up 4 metres away. Newcastle.
Extras on the left.
Priddle goes from dummy half. He loses it. They had men over on the left, as Bill said.
And the man on the end of that back line was Ricky Walford. He should have seen the football.
Now, Richards gave the penalty away. To put them under pressure, he tries to get them out of danger. And a good, strong second run. But he loses it. Walford to the outside. He might have the pace. Kemp comes across. Again, Newcastle putting themselves under pressure. Priddle, a tall man who has certainly played his role today. Tierney. The Saints keeping their cool. They've dragged the defence in. Can they finish them off out wide? The dummy. David New runs into the referee. That will force a scrum. Second occasion, I thought they should have gone wide on the left.
Certainly should have. It's all about opportunities and missed opportunities, and that wasn't well read.
14 tackles They've had the ball, Newcastle, 14 for St George.
I suppose if any positive comes out of it, they were going to take the feed, but Michael Hagan too alert for that.
Back for the Knights. Tony Kemp trying to step out of one. The Knights looking for their first big major success in rugby league. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Who will go into half-time with an advantage? Doyle running outside. Gordon Doyle! It's the Knights who gain the upper hand. They soaked up the pressure. Now their fans cheer Doyle all the way down to the goalposts and that all-important black dot. St George can blame themselves, but the Knights, they did it well and kept their cool.
Put this down to some good defence. Newcastle hung on, and then as the replay shows, they were able to get their attack in order. Ashley Gordon ran wide, held up the pass, got it onto Doyle, no fullback at home, and there's the result of a committed effort.
A tired man. So Doyle goes back to halfway. Bill Harrigan has a touch judge in. Talking to Cameron Wade. Quick chat. Leaves it for Gordon right in front of the post. Well and truly inside the last 2 minutes of the first half. Gordon gets it. And it is 12-6 Newcastle over St George. Khalil trying to step his way through. They've got to be frustrated, Wayne, after losing the opportunity down the other end.
They have, but you've got to give credit to Newcastle's outstanding defence. It's been strong all day, as it has been in the 13-a-side game for the past couple of years. So, I mean, I think that's going to continue to frustrate St George as they get more tired.
Goulet out there to make an impression. Flicks it for New over the top. He just threw it behind his head. Cameron Wade was there in a spectacular try to the Saints. They soak up time. Wade under the black dot at the other end. The final is shifting from one team to the other.
Well, have a look at this. Goulet got the ball back inside, New up the centre. He threw it over his head. His prayers were answered in the form of Cameron Wade. Have a look at that on your Nissan replay as St George continue to fight back.
Cameron Wade trying to make one of the defenders come to him to force out some time. What a final 12-all. No time left now. Chip ahead from Gordon. Quick thinking. Off the knees of Wade. Doyle's there. It bounces fortuitously into the hands of Cameron Wade. So action right to the end of this first half. It's 12-all. We'll be back at the stadium after this break. Welcome back as evening sets in here out west of Sydney, the Parramatta Stadium, where nobody has moved all day, around 30,000 inside the stadium, witnessing this final of the 1991 Nissan Sevens. And what a final it is. St George and Newcastle have given little to each other, and they're not making too many mistakes. 29,213. Breaking the record set last year of 25,174. And some tired players getting their last chance at a hot tip from coaches Alan McMahon and Brian Smith. Alan McMahon, a tense coach. He knows he's only 10 minutes away from maybe picking up first prize of 70 grand. He's kept his cool in shorts all day, as has Brian Smith. This is the way we're going to win it, he says.
As Brian Smith legs haven't seen much sun in the last couple of years.
Back from England, where he's taken hold to the top of the championship lead.
And who would have thought at 7 o'clock this evening that it was going to be Newcastle up against St George. Underdogs, but they deserve to be here.
The fancies have fallen this afternoon all day long, but that's what Nissan Sevens is about. We've got 10 minutes left, and it is 12-all. A reminder that if they're locked together at the end of this one, we go into extra time and sudden death. A scrum will restart play on halfway, and the first scorer will be the champions of the Nissan Sevens. Bill Harrigan about to get us underway. To add to the tension, the ball just falls off the mound. Gordon to try and put it deep. Put some pressure on St George and hopefully a mistake. In fact, they try something different, but Beattie was awake. One of the most alert and professional players in the game.
Those kickoffs are good, but only if they come off.
And that's because now in the second tackle, the Saints are already back to halfway. David New. Goulet. Chance out wide if he can get it. There is Priddle. Back on the inside for Cameron Wade. Clever thinking from Walford to tow it ahead. Now, well, great race between Gordon and Walford. And Gordon got there a metre out. Dramatic chase between the two flyers. Now, the Knights come away with it through Wayne Richards. Glanville. Crunch time, Wayne. What's going to win this one?
Well, it's a hard question to answer at this early stage of the, well, still early because there's still 9 minutes to go, but I think it's going to be ball control. There's going to be about 8 or 9 sets of 6, and St George.
Well, you just said it. They lost at Newcastle, but St George haven't been able on the first tackle to convert it. He took a chance, Cameron Wade, but they will get the ball back from the line dropout. And it shows just how tired they are through Tony Kemp.
Yeah, that may have been too flamboyant a movement there by Wade. He put it ahead. It was early in the tackle count. They had plenty of tackles they could have burned up. Had it come off, he was a genius. Now they're going to have to tackle for 6.
Now Kemp taking his time over the restart. Back for Gordon. George. 6 vital tackles coming their way. If they're going to make their mark, it should be in this 6. New and Hagan. Back for Goulet. Goulet waits it out wide for Walford. Walford, the short ball to Beattie. Great pass away for Walford. Back infield for Goulet. This will be some try. It is a sensation. St George kept that alive. How many sets of hands? What a remarkable try. There was always somebody there, and confidently they knew they could throw it and end up with support.
A picture tells every story, and the Nissan replay here tells the story of a great try. Goulet gets the ball after an inside pass from Walford, back over the shoulder. We saw that earlier in the first half. Cahill there backing up. Well done, St George.
They said they've got to make their mark, and they have. And Beattie, he kicked a super field goal from 45 metres out in the semi-final. Now on the angle. A try that he had a big hand in. Ball from one end of the scale to the other. And it's St George 16-12 over the Knights. McCormick. 7 minutes to go. Richards away for Schuster. Possession is just about even. 18 tackles for St George, 19 for Newcastle. Glanville. Glanville. Surprising everyone in that passage with his pace. But they cough it up once more, Newcastle. Bottom line in Sevens football, and it's handling.
It sure is. If you control the ball in Sevens, this pass never needed to be thrown. They had plenty of tackles to come. If you control the balls in Sevens football, you're going to find holes.
To his defence, it was a perfect ball. Easily put down by Doyle. St George with about 6.5 minutes left in this half. And that will be a big payday for the Saints. Goulet. Goulet now 35 out from his own line. David New. Who's at home? Gordon's got to turn and chase again. It is now tough days for the Knights. Gordon gets it back for Schuster. He's wrapped up quickly by Wade.
There's some tired players there, a few of them working on memory.
Wade kicks it ahead. Wade wins the race. That's a try. Cameron Wade missed out a few moments ago. Now with the Knights a little tired, he catches them napping. That might win it.
The Nissan replay will show us second time lucky. The kick ahead by Cameron Wade. He's had a tremendous series all day. Put the ball ahead in behind the defence and falls on it for a very important Dragons try.
Cameron Wade, what a big day at the stadium for him. Brian Smith giving up no emotion, the St George coach. Ricky Walford, another nail in the coffin. 22-12 St George. Wayne Richards. The irony of it all, Bill, the Saints were in trouble against West in the first round.
They've come from behind in every game that they've played and done it in style. Here what they've got to do is try and protect the lead.
Now Hagan. Hagan dummying his way through. Then he finds McCormick. 5 minutes to go in the final. Penalty comes for Newcastle. It had to. Quickly they'll take the tap. Hagan. Schuster stepping and stepping brilliantly for Gordon. Great cover from St George. Hagan to take over. Looking for runners. St George shut him out. He's only got to be a metre away though. Schuster. Who wants it?
If Newcastle are going to score, St George have got to try and make sure that it's out wide and a difficult conversion.
McCormick. Hagan. Schuster. That was a beautiful ball. He just held it up and said to Schuster, you run to the gap and you put us back in this final with a chance. Right under the black dot. Good play from Hagan.
Michael Hagan, clever skills on the Nissan replay. Schuster ran a good line back into a hole to keep Newcastle's flickering hopes alive.
And it all comes down to mistakes. 3 minutes to go. Gordon from right in front. But this conversion will now set it up that another converted try, even just the try, might send us into sudden death. 22-18 to the Saints. Is there time, Wayne?
Certainly there is time, because 3 minutes is a hell of a lot of time in sevens football. It's 3 or 4 sets of 6, and St George, if they hold onto this ball for the full 5 tackles, then kick deep, they're going to be very hard to beat though.
Wayne, it's all about not panicking.
Most definitely. There's a lot of money at stake, and the players realise that, and you get passes like that when you're under pressure.
Yeah,
so,
passes that are absolutely not necessary.
most certainly. I mean, St George are in front. Why they have to push passes at this stage is beyond me.
That's crazy football, and from looking as though they were home, well and truly, the Saints are there to be knocked off now. A converted try to get the Knights home. This penalty is going to send us down the other end, and we are under 2 minutes. So all you Newcastle fans, they are storming home at the right end. Doyle to halfway. Richards. Hagan. Hagan. Schuster. Gordon. Now McCormick. We've got to be going down to the final 60. Hagan.
A lot of passing here from Newcastle, but they need some runners.
They've got runners out wide. Doyle. Cameron Wade is there. And a beautiful tackle on Doyle as we go under 60. Start biting those nails, you Newcastle fans. Richards! Richards still going. Richards ankle tapped. The chance is there for the Knights. St George on the rack. Glanville. Glanville. What a day he's had. He sets up the try, does he? Doyle! What a tackle! Coyne with a brilliant piece of cover defence last tackle. There is only only seconds. Seconds to go. Newcastle from dummy half. Glanville. They are going to have to kick the goal from out wide. Oh, what a finish. Who wrote the script for this? Who wants to take the kick?
The whole Parramatta Stadium here as the Nissan replay takes place, out of their seats.
Unbelievable. Glanville has worked and worked all day. Now, time is up. We are locked together. How would you like to have this kick? Ashley Gordon from about 7 metres in from touch. The pressure of a $70,000 payday for his club. And every fan of rugby league looking on. Hits it well. Hits it well. He's done it! After the end of the time, Ashley Gordon, he will be the hero of Newcastle. Newcastle will celebrate in a big way tonight. The most amazing finish to push the Nissan Sevens to a climax. Bill, what a day.
A fitting finish to what's been a sensational day's football. I think we definitely had the two best teams make it to the final. Interestingly enough, neither of these teams have played in a final before. They'd done it the hard way to get through. Both teams with copybook defence all afternoon, and finally a game that was won in the last 5 seconds when Mark Glanville pushed his way out from dummy half. We looked like going into extra time, and Ashley Gordon with a marvellous conversion, a drop kick from out wide near the sideline, put paid to St George's hopes. There's some of the action. Mark Glanville now being congratulated by his friends, and the announcement, Mark Glanville, our man of the series. $1,000 richer, courtesy of Nissan. The elation, the feeling, and the Newcastle Knights win their first ever major competition. $70,000 richer, and their fans celebrate. A very happy group of players. I'm sure they won't have any trouble sleeping tonight. St George very gallant in defeat. Alan McMahon, a more than happy coach, congratulated by the Newcastle supporters. Alan Bell, his assistant, in front of almost 30,000 people here this afternoon at the Parramatta Stadium. Every one of them would have to go home more than happy with the brand of football that's been displayed.
And a brilliant day. And who would have thought that Newcastle could get home? They looked to be gone, but St George looked gone in their semi-final against Illawarra. The Saints will certainly know that feeling of despair after turning the table on the Steelers, and maybe the Saints had relaxed a little, I don't know. But they made some mistakes that really did cost them, didn't they? Cameron Wade, just thinking about what could have been. Neil Tierney, Ricky Walford, they thought they had it, the Saints. It was going to be a big payday for them, but Newcastle showed so much character in getting home, and the Nissan Sevens of 1991, we're looking at the champs, $70,000 richer. What a day for them. Let's take you to the presentations. Here's Wayne Pearce.
Absolutely tremendous overcast.
We'll take you back to Wayne
We've
now.
had the crowd. The crowd's been fantastic, and we thank you. And we've had the atmosphere. The atmosphere has been tremendous. But the bottom line is the football itself. And the players have really put their best foot forward today. And, I mean, what better way could we finish a day of Sevens football than with a drawn match at full time with a conversion kick after the bell. And, I mean, you've got to give it to Newcastle. They fought long and hard all day. And, I mean, let's give them a round of applause. It was a great effort. To conduct or to make the presentation on behalf of Nissan Australia is their regional manager, Mr. Dick Levy. Please welcome Dick Levy.
Thanks very much, Wayne. It's now 3 years for Nissan to be involved in the Nissan Sevens, and I've got to say, I think you'd all agree this is the best one yet. It's been a great day for everyone. We've set a new ground record, I think, for crowds. And basically the thing is
Well,
growing
Dick
every
Levy
year.
just
It's
making the
fantastic.
presentations there to Newcastle.
I'd like to-
Our Nissan man of the series ended up being Mark Manville. He's $1,000 richer, and what a way to start the rugby league year this season. A super day here at the Parramatta Stadium. The Lotto Challenge comes your way next Sunday. Don't miss all that on Network 10. Of course, that's coming your way with Brisbane and Norths, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Summer Time, to be followed in the doubleheader, Balmain versus Newcastle. You'll see it all here on Network 10. Thanks for being with us at the Parramatta Stadium on behalf of all the Network 10 crew. Good night to you all.